Senator Coons.
Thank you, Chairman Cardin and Senator Rubio, and I'd like to thank the committee staff, Meredith and Sean, for working so hard to schedule this committee hearing quickly. And Mrs. Guzman, it's a delight to be with you today. I really enjoyed our call, and look forward to supporting your nomination and to working closely with you as you lead the Small Business Administration going forward. The crisis that our nation's enduring at the moment, this pandemic and the recession associated with it, is hitting restaurants particularly hard, as you well know. And last summer, Senators Sinema and Wicker, Graham, and I introduced the Restaurants Act to provide direct grants, not just loans, to hard-hit independent restaurants. I heard just yesterday from Sasha Aber, a friend who runs Homegrown Cafe in Newark, Delaware. She's a regular at the annual Taste of Delaware that we do in the Kennedy Caucus Room. I hope you'll join us next year. And Sasha was telling me this weekend just how hard-hit her business has been and how she and her employees and many other restaurants in my state need more help. I'm really encouraged by President Biden's focus on helping restaurants in the American Rescue Plan, and I'd be interested in how you think we can best deliver that, why you think grants are more important than loans, and how significant you think it is to target assistance to sectors like restaurants that have had particularly difficult time of it.
Thank you, Senator. I had the pleasure of serving on the Governor's Task Force on Business and Jobs Recovery during the COVID response, and with the California Restaurant Association chairman on small business issues specifically. So I've heard from him, many stories about how this is affecting California restaurants as an example, and that's a microcosm of what's happening across the country. A lot of these businesses are straddled with debt, have limited cash flow, and so grants have been in high demand across multiple sectors. So I recognize that for small businesses to survive this, grants are needed as well. So as well as targeted relief to ensure that our small businesses who really need it are able to survive this pandemic. So I would look forward to working with you collaboratively on this issue.
I was struck to see this morning in the Delaware Business Times that Delaware is so far coming in last in terms of the second round of PPP loans in terms of the count and volume. And to my knowledge and my staff's knowledge, that's not due to any deficiency on the part of Delaware's lenders or businesses. I think it's important the SBA monitor the geographic distribution of funds. I hope you'll work with me on that. I think part of it may be because audits for first-round PPP loans are more cumbersome than may be necessary. There's been days of back and forth between auditors, lenders, and borrowers, even for loans as small as $10,000. How will you balance the important priorities of program integrity and efficiency in terms of speed?
Thank you for that. I do think that that's the challenge of that balance. I'm quite familiar with the programs, and if confirmed, I would look forward to figuring out how we can push as much as possible to make these simple for our small businesses to understand and leverage, because it is very difficult for them to go through mounds of papers to try to figure things out. So I know that we can better use our field, our resource partners, and get communications out there that help small businesses.
And as we spoke about, those resource partners can be absolutely critical, particularly to smaller businesses. For those that are women-owned, minority-owned, accessible advice and counseling is vital, particularly to navigate a crisis like this and to understand SBA's programs. Shawnee Inn in Greenwood, Delaware is an example. It's operated by Diane Eby. Diane asked Cindy Small at Delaware's SBDC for help early in the pandemic, and Cindy helped her get not just a PPP loan, but FEMA approval for to house federal employees, which then helped her get through. I'd be interested in how you see SCORE and SBDCs and other resource partners working to make sure that our small businesses can access the great programs SBA provides.
Yes, as a small business owner, I used SCORE myself. Learned all about patents from one of their advisors. So I know that there's some great resources out there in the community. In California, we actually match and leverage the federal resource partners, and they have been critical on the ground in informing small businesses. So I would look forward to being a good steward of those programs and making sure they're reaching communities.
Well, as you know, SCORE was founded in Delaware, and I look forward to working with you to strengthen it. My last question. We discussed the urgent need to support new entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs of color, women entrepreneurs, those living in distressed communities. And you mentioned the lack of runway capital as a major barrier. Please explain that problem and the consequences of leaving it unaddressed. I'm hopeful that the Next Generation Entrepreneurship Act, which Senator Scott and I co-authored, could be a part of the solution to this challenge.
Well, as President Biden has said, our talent and our spirit of entrepreneurship, as well as our ideas, come from all parts of the country. And unfortunately, there are many communities that face barriers to capital or have experienced historic, racism or barriers that have prevented them from building the wealth that's needed for accessing capital or relying on friends and family. And so, these entrepreneurs and their great ideas need to be supported as well for our economy to grow and for job creation to happen. And so I think it's really critical that we look at all of our programs from that lens of equity and make sure that we're reaching our underserved populations.
Well, Mrs. Guzman, I look forward to supporting your confirmation and to working closely with you. This has been one of the most functional, productive committees I serve on in the Senate, and I'm hopeful we'll get a great deal done together during this period when our small businesses need you and the SBA so much. I'm so grateful to our incoming committee chairman for his leadership as well. Thank you.
Thank you.